Hello vegan adventures and welcome to our last vlog from Albania. And today we're traveling back to Tirana city where we're gonna take a cable car into the mountains where we're also gonna do some snowy hike. So let's get into the vlog. Alright, and here we're getting into the cable car on the outskirts of Tirana. Ticket costs €6, but what will take you around 3 hours of hiking to the top of cable car station. With the cable car it's only about 20 minutes, plus you get these amazing views. Here we're going up the last steep part and we're just wishing that something would not go wrong, because if you fall down from here it will be a really bad fall. Because we're so high up here, like over 1,500 meters. Look at these big trees here. So this is what I was imagining Albania would look like, but you see how they deforested everything down there. So this must have been hundreds and hundreds of years of deforestation, and you see, this is how Albania should originally look like. You see guys how much soil is here, how much topsoil, because there is still some forest here and the water doesn't get washed off so easily because the roots are holding the structure and the leaves are getting decomposed, making more topsoil. So that's why it's so important to leave the trees and forests, especially if the environment is very steep and rocky and full of rain, because then you're gonna end up with just bare rocks that you can do nothing with. Look at this guys, how much forest there is here. It's not like a huge trees, some of them are pretty big, but you can see how the soil is still there despite very steep terrain. So this is how all the Albania should look like, or majority of it, but unfortunately people don't care here. Right, and here we got to this sign that says Mount Tuyanit is 1 hour 10 minutes, but some other thing is just 40 minutes, so we're probably just gonna try to get there. We don't have enough time to get all the way to Mount Tuyanit because the last cable car is going at 5 PM and we got here pretty late. Alright, and as you can see we're entering the snow line here. Despite so much rain, there is not a lot of snow here because it's still just on the edge of freezing here. It's around 0 degrees here. Even though this is national park, they still cut down a lot of big trees and only few of them are still left here. For the human impact, most of the trees were big like these ones. And if they left all the other trees to grow into that level, there will be no more erosion and even less rocks sticking out. And even this hike was just for a short time. It was one of the best hikes we did in Albania because of all the amazing trees and preserved environment. And if you watched our previous hikes from Albania, you know that most of them were on very degraded and deforested environments. Hiking among these big trees was a special treat. Alright, and in about half an hour from the cable car station we arrived to the saddle, and you can keep going on the left to the Mount Tuyanit, which will take you 30 minutes, or you can keep going on the right to Mount Dajti, which will take you 45 minutes. Fortunately, we won't have time for any of these hills because you have to make it back to the cable car, so we're just gonna look around here and maybe fly a drone as well. Over here we get a nice 360 view of a Tuyanit peak and also the Dajti peak, and as you can notice, both of them are completely covered with forest, which, as I said, is quite unusual for Albania, where most of the hills are deforested. It seems on top of Dajti peak there is a little cleared patch for a viewpoint. Alright, and here I'm flying over the ridgeline. Down here you can see some bigger river, I think it's a river Mat, and also the mountains on the other side, which are close to borders with Macedonia. Here in the background you can see the cable car station where we came from, and also the city of Tirana in the valley. If we're ever gonna come to Albania again, I would probably like to hike in the mountains that you can see on the other side over here, as it seems more protected and forested. But this time we didn't want to go in the high mountains because we wanted to avoid the cold weather, and also there is not much accommodation options available. So why the forests are important is not just from environmental perspective of preventing the erosion, fighting the climate change and providing more rain, but also will be better for tourism. People would come to observe wildlife as more animals would roam around in the forests. But for now, as you can see, you have to get really high into the mountains to experience these forests. As we descended back down to the cable car station, we got clearer view of Tuyanit and Dajti peaks. I had some more battery left on my drone, so I decided to fly, and even though it was getting darker, I got some cool shots. here we are next day, walking to the center of Tirana again. And here we are in a grand park of Tirana. We've been here already the first time we got to Albania, but we only went around the lake, so this time we're gonna explore a little bit more. And this park is actually the only place around Tirana where you can see the big trees. Alright, and here we are finally leaving Albania after about a month and a half. And even though the environment was pretty degraded, a lot of deforestation, we still had some amazing adventures here. But for next time I would maybe come here in the summer and explore the other side, the bigger mountains. Because now we're traveling mostly along the coast, where we couldn't really enjoy the sea, and the mountains were really deforested. However, the plus of Albania was that it was pretty safe. We never really felt like threatened or there was some dodgy people around here, which is pretty much the case in all of Europe. And also another plus, especially when comparing to South America or Western Europe, was that there are not many fences, so you could just walk freely anywhere you want. As our plane peers through the crowds, we have a view of snowy fields in Serbia. And deforestation in Serbia is not on such a big level as in Albania, but it's also pretty bad. Only 30% of area it remains forested. And because Serbia has more lowlands than Albania, it's not so apparent because they leave the hills forested. And here we are on one of our walks, only a few minutes from where we live in Kučevo, Serbia. You can see the big trees are quite abundant here, and it's not even a national park here. On the other hand, this is far east Serbia, so if I traveled more east in Albania, I would probably see more forests like this as well. I hope you enjoy watching our videos from Albania. Next, we're planning a 2-month trip in Costa Rica, so definitely stay tuned for those videos. And as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.